ABC 25 in Flint. This is Mid-Michigan Now.
Our top story tonight, suspect caught. The man police believe assassinated influential conservative activist Charlie Kirk is in custody on suspicion of several charges, including aggravated murder.
The charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson are state felonies. Utah Governor Spencer Cox announced the arrest this morning. The governor says with help from a family member, Robinson was arrested overnight in southern Utah.
He is in jail now pending formal charges, which are expected early next week. Sources tell CNN Robinson is not speaking with investigators. There will be much more on these latest developments coming up on NBC Nightly News at 6:30. Meanwhile, the Charlie Kirk assassination has resulted in several threats against institutions and individuals, including Michigan Lieutenant Governor Garlin Gilchrist.
He issued a statement last night confirming a credible bomb threat against his home in Detroit. Law enforcement handled the threat, and the lieutenant governor and his family are safe.
But this places a big spotlight on how divided this country is and the need to lower the temperature in our politics.
Mid-Michigan Now's Courtney Bennett spent some time with Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson this afternoon. Courtney, he prides himself as a unifier. What are his thoughts on the political violence?
And the unfortunate threat against the lieutenant governor.
Well, when I talked to Sheriff Swanson earlier this afternoon, he says that this needs to end. He says we need to come together and not divide. Right now, we are seeing across the country and here in Michigan are situations of political violence. And Swanson says this impacts families whose loved ones are trying to serve the community.
Those that run for office, our families don't sign up for this.
Over the course of a year and a half, we've seen lawmakers killed at their homes. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house was set on fire, an attempt last year to assassinate then candidate for president Donald Trump. Then on Wednesday, Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah.
I think the bigger issue is why did it happen in the first place? Is the fact that we are going to have different ideologies, different ideas, but that doesn't mean that political violence can solve it.
Swanson, who is running for governor, says this just isn't happening nationally. He says local elected officials also face political threats and violent acts.
It's happened to me. I got a guy in jail right now for a 20-year domestic terrorism threat because he posted online he wants to abolish the sheriff the next day.
Political violence is nothing new in the United States. Pontus Leander is the director of the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies at Wayne State University. He started his research on gun violence and mass shootings about 10 years ago.
The key question at the time is this kind of violence becoming normalized? Is this becoming sort of the new normal? Right? We talked about the new normal with COVID, but the same question is with gun violence.
That's what they are looking into right now. However, Leander says that research doesn't move as fast as real life. He and Swanson both emphasize how important it is to look at the role of our communication in society.
Even posting on social media, knowing that one's network is going to read that. Whatever message we send, someone out there is going to interpret that in terms of the incentives or even the disincentives for engaging in whatever behavior is being talked about.
And what we need to remember is those leader positions that we have, again, our words and our actions matter. How we say things, how we frame things.
Swanson says that all threats and forms of political violence against anyone will be taken seriously by law enforcement. Reporting live in the studio, Courtney Bennett, Mid-Michigan Now.
An Ovid Elise mother is using a tragedy involving her son to raise awareness about suicide and break the stigma. Michelle Vincent lost her 17-year-old son Carson in 2018. He played football and basketball. He also ran track and field. As Mid-Michigan Now's Kyle Macon reports, Carson was known as a kind person, someone not expected to be struggling with his mental health.
He had this great personality and wanted to make everybody laugh and make everybody feel important and included.
Carson Vincent was on top of the world as an outstanding athlete at Ovid Elise High School.
For basketball, he played on the varsity team 3 years in a row, and he broke a couple school records, got 1,000 points.
Carson had many friends, and his mom says he would just make your day better. But under that smile, she says Carson was struggling.
To me, he looked like he had everything going for him, so never would I guess that something was struggling with him. But of course, a lot of us can mask those things.
Sadly, on September 16, 2018, Carson would take his own life. He was just 17.
Unfortunately, he didn't step forward or know that it was okay.
Michelle struggled with losing her child and suffered from depression. She says society has made it where people, especially men, feel they can't talk about their emotions.
There are other people just like you feeling those feelings or those thoughts, and help is available. And maybe my son didn't know that because it wasn't talked about as much.
Now, Michelle makes it her mission to break the stigma about suicide and mental health. With her family, she created the Carson James Vincent Foundation, which allows her to share Carson's story to thousands. She says it's important to have these tough conversations because even the happiest people can be struggling.
Don't be in denial. Don't think that it would not happen to you. Don't think it would not happen to your child or someone around you.
Also in Carson's honor, the foundation awards scholarships to help local high school seniors pay for college.
One of the biggest things for parents is we are so worried that somebody's going to forget our children. We want them to say our names and talk about them as much as possible.
The Carson James Vincent Foundation has awarded more than $11,000 in scholarships since 2018. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, they can call 988 to speak to someone at any time. In the studio, Kyle Macon, Mid-Michigan Now.
A vintage building in Shiawassee County is getting a long overdue facelift. The former Town Tub Car Wash on West Main Street is now under renovation. The first phase begins with demolishing the building, and then on the site, a fully licensed child care center will rise from the rubble. The center will include separate rooms for infants, toddlers, 3-year-olds, and 4-year-olds. They hope to have construction finished and the center open next summer. They will start taking registrations on April 1st. Also new in town, a new car wash in Clio. Whitewater Express is on West Vienna Road. It's right next to Arby's. They have more than 130 locations across 6 states. They are open every day from 7:30 in the morning until 8 at night.
A key struggle for patients fighting cancer is hair loss. A Michigan State University research team wants to solve the social problem with a shampoo-like gel which could prevent hair from falling out during chemotherapy treatment. Right now, there are a few solutions. Among approved methods are cold caps worn on the patient's head, but they are expensive and have their own side effects, including headaches, chills, and nausea. Brian Smith, associate professor in the College of Engineering, has developed the gel he hopes will help protect the hair of patients throughout treatment. Smith says it isn't just a medical problem, but a social problem as well.
So it's like something that, just impacted their day-to-day, how they saw their social interactions, some professional interactions, depending on who they were, and really just kind of a core of their identity.
The hydrogel is applied before chemotherapy begins and left on the head of patients as long as the chemo drugs are in their system and until the gel can be washed off. Head to MidMichiganNow.com for more on the study.